How are you?
Hashem, how are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Thank you. Ah,
You had a rough day, Mario?
huh?
You had a rough day?
Like normal one.
Like every other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. So you have the ladies in your house today with their book club.
Yeah, I have to stay away. I'm not allowed. Good evening.
Who is it? Oh, Abe is here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Here.
I'm gonna stop the recording.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm at 97.
Wow.
I do it in Spanish.
That's why it's faster.
No, but you know what? It's very good. I find that
I know. I used them
it
for
helps
almost
me.
a year.
Yeah.
We're on 92B. Tzadik Beis on
Mhm.
Beis. Ermele Rava L'Rav Bar Meri. Menam Mil Sadamri Inshri Metal Va'ozl Dik L'Bisha Gabikina Desharchi. That it's a saying that a bad palm tree goes and sits with trees that don't bear fruit. And it's a symbol for an evil person who hangs out with evil people. Amar le'davar zer kasu b'Torah. It's written in the Torah. It's repeated shanui b'nevim u'meshulash b'ksuvim, and it's written for a third time in ksuvim. Tanan b'masnisim v'tanina b'braisa. We see it in the Mishnah. We see it in the Braisa as well. Kasu b'Torah dichsi vayelech Esav al Yishmael. Esav the Rasha hung out with Yishmael the Rasha. Shana b'nevim dichsi vaytzlaktu el Yiftach anashim reikim v'yuimo. Yiftach, before he became a shofet, was an armed robber. So other robbers sort of gathered to Yiftach. Umeshulosh b'ksuvim dichsiv kol of limino, every bird with a species, yishko. Uvnei adam l'doimelo. This actually is in Ben Sira. It's not in Ksuvim. Ben Sira was not canonized. Tnan b'masnisim, the same concept. Kol ha'mechuber l'tomei tomei. Kol ha'mechuber l'tor tor. If you're whatever's connected to tomei is tomei. Whatever's connected to Torah is Torah. Tanina b'Braisa Eliezer Oimer. Lo lechinam halach zarzir etzel oirev. El b'nei shumino. That the zarzir, it's also a treif bird, hung out with the raven, which is another treif bird. Rashi says the zarzir is ashtaronil. Estornil. It's French, Old French. Ermele Rav Bar Meri. George, does
Yes,
it,
sir.
what does it say in Spanish a zarzir is?
Ah, now you're asking me a tough question.
I'm just saying, because we don't have an English, we have a French version, estornel. I was wondering if this, maybe the Spanish had a better translation.
Starling?
So a
Star-
starling?
Starling
In
is,
English, it's
starling
starling.
is the English term.
Starling.
Okay,
Un pajarito.
is that in Spanish?
No, I'll tell you in a
Like a
second.
crow.
Say it again, it's a
It's
crow?
like a crow, I think.
Yeah, but a raven, no, the hangs
No,
out.
the
with-
O-rave, the O-rave is
Oh,
the rave.
the raven hangs out with a starling. That's what it says. I don't know.
Okay, so estornel is a starling. Okay, it's a zarzir. It's not a kosher bird. Amalei Rav Mary.
It's a little bit like the name in Spanish is estornino, which I've never heard before, so I
Right, so-
apologize.
So in French, it says estornel, which also. I don't-
Estornino.
Huh?
That's right. It's estornino. It's a bird. It's black, but
Yeah,
it has a shiny body, so it looks a little bit like a crow.
Scientifically,
prettier.
they're in the family Sternidae,
Yeah.
the scientific term.
Okay, so that's where the Latin gets it. Amalei Rav Mary, B'noam Yosef Darmi Inchi. Kiryat Chaver Chavalo Anach. Rami Gude Rabba Shadi Bey. If you call your friend, he doesn't come. Take a big wall and throw it on him. These were common sayings that existed at that time. So Omerle, Yan Torasecha, V'lo Taras Mitumasecha, Lo Titari Od. That means, why are you becoming Torah? You still haven't gotten rid of your tumah. Omerle Rav Bar Mary Minoam Yosef Amri Inchi, Bira Deshasis B'nei Lotishde Bekala. It means if you drank water from a well, don't throw a stone in it. Meaning you should have a kor sato for something that it did good for you. Amalei Dechsiv Lo Tita'ev Adomi Ki Achichahu. Don't give trouble to the Edomite. He's your brother, Esav. V'lo Tita'ev Mitzri Ki Ger Yita Be'artzo. You sojourned in Egypt for 210 years. You have to recognize that, that was the place where you lived. Amalei Rav Rameri, Menam Yosef Inchi, I Dalas Dura Delina, V'ilo Lo Delina. If you lift this burden with me, then I'll lift it. If not, I won't lift it. Amalei Dechsiv. This is when Devorah, the Neviah, wanted Barak to go and fight Sisera.
Cicero.
So Vayomer Elea Barak, Im telchi imi valachti, Vim lo telchi imi lo ele. Barak gave Devorah an ultimatum: if you go with me, I'll go. If not, I'm not going to go. In the end, she went, and they were victorious. Armele Ravel Rabbi Mary, Menam Yisnamri Inchi, Kada Vinen Zutri Legavri, Hashta the Kashish no Ladardiki. When we were young, we thought we were adults. Now that we're adults, people look at us like we're children. Amerle, where do we see this from? Mikaraksiv. Initially, when Klal Yisrael went out in the desert, it says Hashem olech lifnehem yomam bamud anan. Hashem led them in a pillar of cloud, lan chesam haderech, to show them the way. V'layla b'amudesh la'ir lehem. And at night, he led them with a pillar of fire to enlighten them. So in the beginning, Hashem himself went with them. Ulvasof, they should have been more elevated. After they committed Averis like Cheta Egel, etc., they were only led by a Malach, not Hashem himself. You see a wealthy guy, you should schlep wood with them. In the end, by being friends with them, it'll benefit you. Amalei Dichsiv, V'gam Lelot, Ha'oleches Avram, Hayat sort of a Karvo Halim. Avram was a very wealthy guy when he came back from Mitzrayim. And Lot hung around with him. He ended up wealthy too. Amar Rav Chanan. Amoiser din al Chaveiro. Somebody sort of tells on a friend to Shamayim. Like you dive into heaven that something bad should befall your friend. Hu nenash tchila. He will be punished first. Shenemar v'tomer Sarai Avram chamasi alecha. Sarai told Avram, I'm angry with you. And basically was asking Shamayim to punish him. And in the end, it was Sarah who died first. Hanimili the Islay Dina Ba'ara. So you shouldn't daven to Hashem that something bad should happen to a person, as long as there's a din on earth where he's going to go to din for something. But if he doesn't, which is mashma, that if there is no din, then you could be moiser b'shamayim. The person who cries to Hashem, woe is to him more than who he's crying about. Tanamachi, echad atzoik v'echad anitzak, b'mashma. It says in Pasuk, imanet haneh also, if you torture him, ki im sa'ok yitzak elai, if he cries to me, shamo eshmat zakaso, I will listen to his tefillas. V'chara api, v'haragti eschem b'chorev. What's the eschem? Looks like both of them are getting punished. So memarim letzoyek yoser ben anitzak, but they punish the one who cries to Hashem that the guy should get punished more than who he's crying about. Like the same story that happened to Sarah. Amr of Yisra. La'olam ati kilas hedyoit kala beinecha. The curse of a regular person, you should take it seriously. Shari Avimelech kila l'Sara, and his kind of Zara. Avimelech cursed Sarah, and it came to be in her children. Shenemar. Vihinehu lach ksusenai. Ksusenai means a cover for the eyes. Amr laholuk v'chisisa b'meni. You hid the fact that you were his husband, you were his wife. V'lo gilishu hu ishech. And therefore, garamta elai atzar hazeh. It led that my women couldn't give birth, etc. Your children should be blind. When Yitzchak became older, he couldn't see well. Better to be somebody who is chased than be one of the chasers. There are no birds that are chased by birds of prey more than turtle doves. And shaksherim, those are the birds that are kosher to offer as a mizbeach. So it's good to be chaste. Ha'omer simes enoi.
By the way, he talks about pigeons also. It's not only turtle doves, it's pigeons.
Turtle doves and pigeons. Okay. Ha'omer simes enai. We said that
I don't know why that statement should be true. Why would it be better to be among the pursued?
because
Sounds
the
awful.
pursuit,
And we know that there's a din of erodeth. You have to kill them. And, like, nobody said, it's just, nobody says you have to lay down your, I don't know.
you shouldn't complain. Rishonim say you shouldn't complain so much that you're being chased. Because we just finished the sugya that you shouldn't daven for bad things to happen to people. People who are chased or embarrassed, we Rishonim say there's a certain mila kedusha that they have because they're low.
So it doesn't mean pursued as in,
It doesn't mean like in a war.
to kill or
Yeah,
harm.
no, to kill. Obviously, you're allowed to protect yourself.
So, by the way, there's a halacha here from the Rambam,
Me,
Ernie.
Yes.
The Rambam talks about that a person should always be among those who are pursued. It's virtuous for a person to be among those who are pursued and not among the pursuers, and among those who are not are
Mina ne'elovim v'lo mina oilvim. You
Right.
should be
Like
embarrassed and not be the ones who embarrass people.
people. So obviously, if you're pursuing somebody, it's an embarrassment to the guy. I don't know.
No, well, yeah, when you're chasing somebody, you're giving him tsar.
Right.
You'd rather be the recipient of tsar than the giver of tsar.
It's difficult to understand. I agree. Kenny, it's not an American concept.
Okay.
You have to be the winner always. Okay.
Ha'omer sames enai. The guy says, blind me, and you won't have to pay me. You still have to pay. But if a person said, here, break my jug, and you don't have to pay, then you don't have to pay. So there's a difference between the body and an object. Why is the din different? Reisha, the fishein adam moichel rosh evarim. A rosh evarim are like the things that don't grow back, like an eye or a hand. And even if he said almanas liftor, and you won't have to be, he doesn't really mean that. Because the nature is that a person is not going to forgive that. What about pain? He doesn't lose his eye. Is a person moichel on that? The Tanya, hakeni psaini, strike me, wound me. Amanas liftor potter. And that's not Rosh Evor, Ishtik. Meaning you have to pay for Hakeni Psaeni. So there's no difference between Rosh Evorim and non-Rosh Evorim. So Armele Midi Shmilach Abaha. I heard a hesber to this. Armele Hochem Rav Sheshes. Mishum Pgam Mishpacha. That means somebody who has his hand or leg chopped off, it's his family that it's a Pgam Mishpacha. That he can't be moichel that. On Tsar, he can't be moichel. And he would be potter if he says Almanas Liftor. Itmar. Rav Shia Omar. That the reason by Rosh Evorim, it's Mishum Pgam Mishpacha. And Rav Amar Mishum Shein Oda Moichel Rosh Evorim Shelo. He's not going to be moichel if he loses a limb. Rav Yochanan Amar Yesh Hein Shukalav Yesh Lav Kishuein. Sometimes we say yes, it really means no. And sometimes we say no, it really means yes. So here when he says Amanas Liftor, that was not really his kavanah. Taina Mahachi. Hakeni psaeni, strike me, hurt me. Almanas liftor. V'omer lo hein. Like the guy says, and I won't have to pay you. And the guy says, hein, yes. Hare yeshen shu kalav. That's a yes. That's really a no. Cross ksusi almanas liftor v'omer lo lav. Tear my garment. And the guy says, and I won't have to pay. And he says, no. Hare lav kishu hein. He really means he will have to pay. Both kavanas are not correct. On the other hand, if he really wanted him to tear his garment, that's how he would have said it. Shabir's kadi kras ksusi. Person says, break my jug. And the guy does it. He doesn't say manas liftor chay. V'reminu, when you give an item to a shomer, lishmor, v'lo la'abed. I want you to watch it, but he's not responsible for it getting lost. Lishmor, v'lo likroa. Lishmor, v'lo l'chalek laniyim. So he's not chayiv if the shomer is told to tear it. Even he didn't say amanas liftor. Amar v'neloi kasha. The Mishnah, the Asiliyade. The shomer got it already. So he has achrayas. So if the Chavero said tear it, and he didn't say Amanas Lifter, he'd be chayiv. But the Baraisa, Shalosli, he doesn't have it yet. So then, if he follows what the friend told him, he'd be potter. Amalei Rabbah, but Lishmor, where he's going to have responsibility to Asli Mashma, of course, it's coming to his hand already. How can you say one case is he doesn't have it? If he says Lishmor in all cases, that's me, he has it. You're right. In both cases, he has it. So how come in one case you're chayv, one case you're pater? Loy kasha. Hada asaliyade the Torah shmira. There, he'll never be pater unless the guy says befeirush you'll be pater. But hada asaliyade the Torah's kriya. He actually gave it to the guy to tear it. Hahu arnika, the tzedakah. There was a purse filled with money that was supposed to be given for charity. The asi lepumpadisa. It was found in Pumpadisa, or brought to Pumpadisa. Afkide Rav Yosef Gabiahu Gavra. Rav Yosef deposited the purse with somebody to watch it. Poshaba, he was negligent in watching it. Also ganve ganvuat. Thieves came and stole it. Chayve Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef made him chayv to pay. Amalei Abaya. Vatani lishmor v'lo l'chalek laniyim. Things that are given for aniyim, a shomer doesn't have responsibility on. Amalei aniyeh pumpadisa make its kitzluhu. They get a certain amount every day. Each ani. And he can claim that. And therefore the lishmor includes what they had as well. New parak. Sadi Gimel Amid Beis.
By the way, the Rambam has a fascinating psak on that, how it works, by the way.
Mishiv Kido Etzlo Moshe Laniyim. A shomer was given money that's supposed to be distributed to poor people, or pidyon shvuyim, or for redemption of hostages. Amanas lachalko. Upashame was negligent, benignavu, hatur. It means in Beis Din, you can't get money from it. But bidei Shemayim, Shemayim is going to ethically fault him for it. When the money is not put in a specific place where the aniyim know it is, or for specific hostages. But if the money has already been designated for a certain person, so that's the din follows the regular shomrim. Meaning, it depends if it's a shomer chinam, if it's a shomer sacher, how far his responsibility goes. Sometimes he'll be potter, sometimes he'll be chayiv. Mishnah. Hagoizel eitzim v'asa kelim. Person stole raw lumber, but he built a cabinet or a desk, or he stole raw wool, semer. The asan begun, he wove it into clothing. Mishalem kafi shasak zela. So how do you return it? You have to break it into its original pieces and give it back? No. Whatever the worth of it was when you stole it, he now is koina it. And he keeps the item that he made. And he doesn't have to give the owner the furniture that he made or the textiles. He just pays because he was koina it with the shinu. Gozel para muberes v'yolda. He stole a pregnant cow, and it gave birth while it was in his possession. Or Rachel to Una v'giza. He stole a sheep that had a lot of wool, and he sheared it in his possession. Misham dmei para omeres leilet. You pay the value of a cow that's ready to give birth. Udmei rochel omeres ligzos, or a sheep that's ready to be sheared. Which is basically, you're paying kashas agzela. But he can keep the child that was born or the sheep that he sheared. Gazal para v'nis abra etzlo v'yolda.
The sheep of the wool.
He pays the value of a sheep full of wool, but he gets to keep the wool.
Oh, the
Very
wool, okay. No, you say he gives the sheep, that's why,
No, the wool.
okay.
Gazal para v'nis abra etzlo v'yolda. He stole an unpregnant cow, and the cow became pregnant in his rishus and gave birth. Or he stole Rachel, a sheep that didn't have any wool. Vinit ana etzlo, it grew sheep in his possession, v'gazaza, and he sheared it. Mishalem kishas agzela. He pays what the naked sheep was. And he keeps the shearings, and he keeps the vlad. Ze'aklal, kol ha'gazlanim mishalem kishas agzela. A gazlan pays the value of what he stole at the time he stole it.
Ernie, I'm not sure that if the Gemara, the Mishnah says that if he stole a cow that has a calf in it, the calf belongs, and he keeps the cow and it gives birth in it. Doesn't it? He pays just for the cow, and he keeps the calf,
He pays for the cow
and he keeps the
value
calf.
when it was pregnant. I said he keeps the cow. In the case of
But they doesn't pay for a pregnant cow; he pays for the cow.
Mishalem dmei para ha'meres lele.
Oh,
He pays
okay.
for a cow that's ready to give birth. That's what he stole. That's kashas agzela. Then, when it gives birth in his possession, he doesn't have to return that. He paid the shas agzela. He keeps the whatever the profits are. He gave birth, or he shears the wool. He keeps the wool, but he pays the value. Remember, a sheep that's got no wool costs $100. The sheep that's got wool on it costs $200. So he pays $200. Then he shears the wool, keeps the wool, fair tick.
Oh, okay. But if he stole it and became pregnant by him, he keeps the whole.
Then he
thing.
pays kashas
Okay.
agzila, he
The-
pays for an unpregnant
cow.
and he keeps
Okay.
the vlad.
Okay.
So crime does pay. He ends up with free wool,
Right.
he ends up with a
He's not
cow.
paying, he's
No,
not
but
paying
that-
any of the
Cow
opportunity
got pregnant
cost.
in his possession.
What's that?
The cow got pregnant in his possession. The second story is that the
Yeah,
cow.
but
got-
Harold's
would've had-
right.
He never,
He
would've
never had a
the calf.
cow in the first place to be.
He never would have had the calf if he didn't steal the cow.
I understand, but obviously the Torah teaches us that if you
Listen, in American law, though, person doesn't pay their taxes or whatever it is. the IRS says, not only do you owe me the money, but you owe me back interest. Meaning the person who's getting stolen from, he's losing the opportunity cost of getting wool, getting
Getting the
new
calves.
calves, whatever
But
it is, and
this-
he doesn't get compensated for any of this.
Okay,
Yeah, the Torah
Because-
doesn't hold like that. So,
this is based on the halachic principle that the Goslin is koine the item. It's his now, since he was mishana it. So for example, he stole lumber, he built a desk.
there's a change.
That belongs to him now. And
Oh, because he paid for the cow, he paid for the
No,
sheep.
no, because
No,
he
he
makes
stole
a
it.
change. If you make a change, the change that you make it actually belongs to you. You
it's a little bit like
original.
Marx. It's a little bit Marx in Das Kapital. He talked about
Oh.
the value that a worker puts into the shoe that he makes. Right? There's labor, there's the art of doing it. So the Goslin did those things. So he's coining it with that act. So his value is there. So that's why the Torah says, Pei kishas agzela. He now acquires it. So it's
If a guy comes
it's
in
a
and
quirk
paints
in the
my
law.
house,
What was
guy
that?
comes in and he restuccos my house, and he says, "Pay me money." Say, "Listen, my house is beautiful. I totally appreciate it, but I didn't hire you to do that." I mean, I don't know why the guy that has the cow can say, "Listen, that's my cow. I didn't ask you to get the cow pregnant. You shear the wool. It's mine. Doesn't matter what you made it better.
So-
it doesn't make
so
it yours."
Yeah, but one is
So
different.
you have to pay. You have to
than
pay him.
good.
You have to pay him. It was worth $1,000. You paid him $1,000.
So what's to prevent someone from stealing cows all,
Yeah. And then
stealing
investing
sheep,
it,
making
making
the
money,
wool?
paying you back your principal.
They probably did.
Well, you committed
Romania.
you committed an avera,
You punished min hashamayim. Don't think that you're getting
and you're
off.
getting punishment al-shamayim. You're posel le'edus. A
you get a lot of
Goslin
wool. You got a
Huh?
lot of wool.
A person allowed to steal money, make money on it, give the process to yeshiva, and then return the money. You're not allowed to do that.
They do that all the
Ridiculous.
time.
I don't know. This whole thing bothers me. This whole
I
Shabbos
understand.
Gedela thing.
Because the Torah goes on Shino Daraisa. That's what the Halacha says. The Rambam says that there's a Shino Daraisa. If you change up something, somebody steals a diamond from you, right? And it's a DSI1.
And they make it beautiful.
And they make it
beautiful.
and then
Say,
they
"Give me
make
back
it
my diamond."
flawless. They make it flawless. Okay, they make it flawless according to the halacha. That would be that they make it flawless. They change the weight, and it's worth much more money, right? Because they cut it, they worked on it. So according to the halacha, I can fight with the guy and get from him the DSI1, but I can't get a D flawless price back from him. That's the halacha. I didn't make these halachas.
Yeah, but you're losing out to simple opportunity cost for using that diamond
Yeah,
for
but
yourself and making a markup in it.
The fact of the matter is he changed it. That basically the change caused the enhanced value. You didn't change it. The fact that you could have, if you would have, that has no bearing on the halacha. Halacha is black and it doesn't mean that you're not chayav min hashamayim.
You are considered a Russia. You're posula edus, so there's ramifications. You said people went around doing it. You were known as a Goslin. You're posula edus. You probably wouldn't get an aliyah in shul. You were a Russian.
For sure, you get aliyah and shul, you get shishi and shlishi. You give a lot of money then you get everything. You can't get coin though. That you can't change. Nobody can change into a coin, Harold.
I've seen a few people change into a Cohen.
I have a grandson who's a Cohen, so somehow the DNA got mixed and he's a Cohen now. Okay. Amri.
As long as you keep on giving him mice, Ernie, they'll be very happy with you.
Eitzim vason kelim in. The Gazlan acquires the item if he stole raw wood and built furniture. But if just sheepen, meaning he sanded it low, that's not enough of a shinui. And therefore you'd have to return the lumber that he sanded. Tzemer vasan begodim in. You stole wool and you actually wove it into a garment. But if livnin, if you washed it and made it white, well, that's not enough of a shinui. And you would not acquire it, and you'd have to give the item back itself. Viriminu, I'll ask you a kasha. Gozel eitzim v'shipa. You stole lumber and you sanded it. Or avonim v'sititin. You stole a stone and you smoothed it, sharpened it. Tzemer, you stole wool v'livnin. You cleaned it. Pishtan v'nikei, flax, and you cleaned it. Misham chasak zela. So l'chor, these actions do acquire it for the Gazlan. Amr Abaya, it's a machlokes tanoi. Tana didon, in our Mishnah, Ketani, Shinu d'Rabbanan. It's a Shinu, but not Midaraisa. Which is what? Shinu d'Hadra. If the Gazlan can return the item to to the way it was when he stole it, that's only a Shinu Midrabanan. And the Shinuis in the Mishnah are that. And but only Midrabanan. Like a piece of lumber that you made into a desk, well, you could break down the desk and give him back the lumber. The kol shekain shinu d'oraisa, and a shinu that doesn't change, that certainly acquires the Gazlan the item. So those things that mentioned in the Mishnah, for example, eitzim basol kelim, you stole lumber, you made it furniture. You stole eitzim meshupin. This lumber was already sanded. Ma'inenu nesarim, beams. And you took the beams and you made a chest out of it. Sheshina dehada lebraisa rule. It can return to what it was when you stole it. The iboy matzafluhu. He can break the chest down, separate it, and give back the lumber. Similarly, tzemer vasor b'gadim, wool that you wove. This is talking about wool that was already tavu. It was woven wool. And now that you make a garment, so you take the stitches out of the garment, you return him the textile. It's considered a shina, the hada l'briyasa. The boy saucer, if he wants, he can undo the beged and give him back the thread or the piece of cloth. So these are shinuis midivrei chachamim that are koinen, and certainly kol shekain shinu d'oraisa, that the Gazlan will acquire the goof. Break the Gemara. No, Tana Bra, the Tana of the Baraisa says, Shinu Daraisa Ktani, our Mishnah is really dealing with Shinu Daraisas. The Shinu Rabbanan Loi Ktani. But it did not mention Shinu Rabbanan. And according to that Tana, it doesn't acquire it for the Gazlan. Rav Ashi gives a different teretz. Tana didanami shinu deraisa ktani. It mentioned shinuyim that were minar Torah, because eitzim vaso kelim, you stole lumber and you made a furniture out of it, we're talking about bebuchnoi. Some kind of metal. The Ainu sheepin, by cutting it and polishing it, makes a kli. And you can't return it. And Semer Vason Begodim, we're talking about, he made namti. Namti is like felt. The Ainu shinish deloy hodar. So the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch say, shinu shechosel briyoso, a shinu that you can break it down and give back the original raw items is not considered a shinui. And the Gazlan has to return that which he stole. For example, if he stole wool and he made a chest, it's not a shinui. He can break it apart and give it back, the wool, the wood. But if he stole wood and he cut it and he sharpened it or made a hole in it and he made kalim out of the wood, like he made a bowl out of it, or he stole wool and made felt, so you can't go backwards. That's a shinui, and he's coined it. And all he has to do is pay shasek zela. The Ramah says the name has to change as well through the shinui. Freit the Gemara, v'libun miyavi shinui, by just cleaning, washing the wool, is that a shinui? Will you pay kashas akzela v'reminu? There's a din of rashis agays. If you have a flock of sheep and you shear it, you got to give the Kohen the first wool. Now, lo he speak litna lo achet sovo. If the owner hadn't given the wool to the Kohen, and meanwhile he colored it, potter, because it was nishtane. But livno v'lo tzvo chayev, washing it does not change it, and you can continue giving it to the Kohen. So libun is not a shinui. Amar Rabbi loy kasha. Ha, the Baraisa is Rav Shimon. The Mishnah is Rabbanon. The Tanya. Gazazu tovo v'argo. You sheared the wool. You wove it. So you need a certain shear of wool before you chayiv reishis hagez. But if you sheared the wool and you wove it, it's not mitzvah to the shear. Because wool that is roy for giving reishis hagez has to be the way it originally was. But if you made a shinui, you're not chayiv in reishis hagez. It's not mitzvah to the shear. But livno, if you whitened it through washing, also Reb Shimon says ein mitzvah, it's a shinui. So that's the baraisa that it would be coined a big kashas akzela, because he's coined it b'shinui. Chachamim Oimrim, just washing it does not change the ikar wool and mitzvah to the shear. Rava gives a different teretz. Hava Rav Shimon, who said that by washing it, it's considered a shinui. Still loy kasha. Had nafse nefutzi. The Mishnah is talking about you separated the wool before washing it. Then the washing is not considered shinui. Had the sarkisruki. The baraisa, you combed it, and then the libun makes a shinui. So Rav Chia Baravi Noamar, different teretz. Had the chavri. If you just whitened it, that's not a shinui. Had the kavrui. You use like sulfur, I guess, which makes it permanent.
Bleach it.
That's a shinui that doesn't return to its original state. It comes out that according to Rab Shimon, washing it and libun it, making it white, is a shinui. Pashti yesh loymar, tzavel Reb Shimon lo avi shinui. Libun avi shinui. If coloration, according to Reb Shimon, is not a shinui, whitening it is a shinui, how do you know? This is the Tanya. Gozes rishon. You are shearing sheep after sheep. Vitzavu. And you're coloring it. Rishon v'tavo. You're shearing and then weaving. Rishon v'argo. Ein mitztarev. So we're trying to get up to a certain shear to see that it'll be mechayev rachis agaze. All of these things are not mitztaref to the shear. But Rav Shimon ben Yehuda, Rav Shimon, tzavo mitztaref. Coloring it it's not a shinui enough. So how could you tell me coloring is not a shinui, but libun is a shinui? Makes no sense. Amar Abai lo kasha. That which we say that libun is not mitzvah because it's a shinui, that's rabbanan alibud Rab Shimon. And where it says that libun is not a shinui, Rav Shimon ben Yehuda alibud Rab Shimon. Machloek tanoim within Rab Shimon. Rav Amar Lolam lo pligi rabban alei al Rav Shimon ben Yehuda. Really, the Chachamim are not arguing with Rav Shimon ben Yehuda. They all hold that libun is a shinui, according to Rav Shimon. What about coloring? Shiny tseva, why is that not a shinui? You could use turpentine or soap and get rid of the coloration. So therefore, it's a shinui that goes back to the original state. It's not a shinui. You didn't give it to the Kohen until you colored it potter. So that's not a regular coloration. That's the kala ilan shelo ovar. That's a coloration that you can't get out with turpentine. Amar Abai Rav Shimon ben Yehuda, Ubei Shammai Rav ben Yaakov Rav Shimon Elazar Rabbi Shmuel Kula Svirulu, Shinu b'mkar oime. That just because the Gazlan made a shinui, it stays in the reshus of the original bailing. Rav Shimon ben Yehuda Adamaron, because Rav Shimon before just said, according to Rav Shimon ben Yehuda, that if you colored it, it's not considered a shinui. So there is no shinui. It stays in the reshus of the bailing. Beishamai Mayi, Ditanya, Nasan law, Chitin Besnana. You gave a prostitute, instead of cash for her services, you gave her wheat. We know there's Esnan Zona. If you give a sheep as payment to a prostitute, you can't use that sheep for a korban. What about if you gave wheat and you made it flour? Can you use it for a mincha? You gave her zaysim, you gave her olives, vason shemen, or a novim. You gave her grapes, vason yain. In each case, she's made a shinui. Tani chada osir. You may not makriv them on the mizbeach because of eslan zona. Because it says lo savi eslan zona beis Hashem alkecha. Tani yidich muter, because a shinui was made. Vam Rav Yosef, Tani Gurian the Maspurik, was the name of a person, Beis Shammai Oisrin, who Beisil Matip. We'll pick this up tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 7:15.